There are 10 weeks and 1 day from the 8th of March until the 18th of May.
Good morning, it is Saturday and it is sunny in London, so we're going to make the most of it and we're not going to stay at home, even though I feel like we probably have got things we should be doing. Instead we're going to go... Do you know where we're going?
Rhabsody?
Yeah, I was thinking maybe we go Primrose Hill. Should get bagels for lunch. But I think the place has got a queue, is that okay? Okay, I'm gonna go get bagels, maybe go for a walk around Primrose Hill, pop into my mum's house. That's the plan. I'll probably bring you with you, but we know what I'm like when I'm out and about. I don't vlog enough. Go take bagels. I reckon I get to 100. So we've got our bagels and we're in Primrose Hill eating them. We decided to share. This is a
sausage, egg and cheese.
And then I got a...
That works.
They're good. I'm not sure if it's like worth... What do we pay, £24 for 2 bagels? It's a lot of money. Today is Sunday, the 9th of March. Is that true? Yes, it is. I'm really enjoying doing these monthly vlogs rather than weekly or daily, so I hope you are enjoying them too, and thank you so much if you watched my last one. I'm not saying I won't ever do weekly or even daily, but I'm enjoying these. There's much less pressure. Today is sunny and it has been actually pretty much all week, which I feel like is part of the reason why I haven't been on here, especially at the beginning. When we get the first days of sun, I really like want to be out and about and like doing things, and actually last weekend we went to Newcastle, although it wasn't sunny. First task is to kind of like get the house largely tidy because I want to sit in the garden and read a book. It's like too early to do that, like it's not quite warm enough. It's still very much March. I'm assuming that in like 2 hours time I will be able to do that, so I want to make the most of that once that time kind of comes up, because we haven't been properly at home for a few weekends. I feel like we do also have a lot to do in the house. I have a lovely at-home day. Like I am like lusting for it, to be completely honest. Like I'm so desperate for a tidy house and an afternoon in the sun, and I might even bake a sourdough, my first ever sourdough. We'll see how it goes. I've now got my sourdough starter kind of prepping, and it might turn out okay, it might not turn out okay, it might go in the oven, it might not, although I think I might end up having to bake it tomorrow. We'll see how it goes. Firstly, tidying my kitchen. Productive morning. I struggle to motivate myself. It's I think it's an ADHD thing. I can work for hours if I'm with someone, but by myself it's really hard. And my motivator today has without a doubt been the fact that I'm going to reward myself by now sitting in the sun for the next 2 hours. It's like 1 o'clock. Had a microwave meal, which we rarely eat microwave meals, maybe like 1 a year, 2 a year, maybe, very rarely. But we picked this up yesterday because I thought I was going to eat it yesterday, but then I actually wasn't hungry yesterday, so I had this, which is the chicken korma and rice from Waitrose. So I've done a wash, I organised my garden. I cannot wait to show Michael. I said, oh, by the way, just so you know that we have stuff to do when you come home from football. And he said, like, why don't you do it whilst I'm at football? Like, won't that be fun for you? Kind of like knowing that I probably wouldn't do it. And then I've kind of done it. There's still like a few things to do, but now it's probably a mic issue. I am now going to go and finish this, which is Sally Rooney's Intermezzo. I have been reading this since the middle of December. It's been 3 months. That is outrageous. This is a chunky monkey. I don't really love reading in winter, and honestly it's just been a bit of a slog. Like, she writes really beautifully, but I just don't think it's been that captivating. And then from that I'm going to move on to this, which is Go as a River. I don't know if I'm going to like this. I have actually started this, but then I ended up moving over to this. It's because I was like borrowing the audiobook initially from the library, bit of a faff, but that's why I kind of finished reading. That's why I started like 2 chapters of this, moving on to this. I was going to read the new Stanley Tucci. I think it's called What I Ate in a Day, and I will. That's like, that I think will be very light and very readable, but I think for today I'm going to start this. I might see if I can make myself some sort of cold drink. You can see my clothes hanging up outside. I love my clothes hanging up outside when it's like springtime. But we picked up this. This is a Sicilian sparkling lemonade with spring water from Lidl. Okay, I think I just drink it. Like, I don't think I have to mix it. Let's give this a go. I think maybe we bought this before. Typically we drink this squash from Lidl. This is new. I actually, we don't typically buy this one, we buy another one. This is apple and strawberry, which is my favorite. Oh, am I supposed to stir? Am I supposed to shake this? Once open, stir. No. I don't know. It is sparkling, so I'm just going to gently. I need to buy some new glasses. I feel like lots of mine have chips, but it's annoying because I like these. I don't know if I can get them again. I'm also just waiting for Mike to come home from football. It's okay. It's the sort of thing that like I would enjoy in the summer. It's not like nice enough for me to buy all year round, but not bad. Good morning, it is Monday. I'm back in this jumper. I was like really umming as whether I should wear this, but I just really like to wear these jeans, which are from Naked, and are like, oh, one of my flies is undone. They're like really unfussy. They're stretchy, they're comfortable, they're not skinny but they're not loose, they're just like a nice straight leg. I like wearing these are like my at-home track jeans, and then I like to just wear a jumper that I don't have to think about it too much, trying to reduce that decision fatigue. It does mean that in these videos I end up wearing like a black jumper of some sorts, either this or the Uniqlo one, or I have another one from a brand called Correndo, which I just wear so much. But today is Monday. I would say I really struggle with Mondays because either I feel like I haven't really planned ahead enough to like have a very productive Monday, or I do plan ahead and I just don't sleep well. So it's kind of like a catch-22, because either like my brain is in overdrive and I've like really planned out the day on Sunday, so that Monday I have a productive day, but honestly that is not fun because that means that I just don't sleep well enough. So anyway, it's tricky. I'm trying to find balance. I feel like I'm really just trying to kind of like better myself, but that is a slow and hard process. What I'm going to do now is go for a walk. I'm going to wear a hat, so please excuse my hair, just because I need to get out really. I just feel like I can't stay home all day. Came back from my walk. It got sunny at the end. I listened to the Shameless podcast, which is a good one, but I feel like I need some more podcast recommendations. Just like get through podcasts so quickly. I want largely comedies, to be completely honest. I also like current affairs and like pop culture more than current affairs. I feel like current affairs is overhyping my taste. Is more highbrow than what I want. I'm just gonna excuse the fact that my hair looks shit today. I haven't washed it in a few days, and really I need to wash my hair every other day. It's just that I'm not doing anything today, so this is what we've got. Good morning. Today is Friday. It's actually very close to the end of the month. I would typically have uploaded this yesterday, but I did edit it, and my gosh, it's just a boring video. So I just wanted to include a few other little bits. My jumper's a little bit creased, which is a bit annoying. I thought I'd show you, I guess, a mini favourites. Firstly, I've just done my nails. I really like them. Since the start of the year, I haven't had my nails done, and I have absolutely been loving that. I've either been painting my nails at home by myself, actually that's all I've been doing, with, if you're curious, this nail polish, which is the Sally Hansen Miracle Gel, but you don't have to cure it. Red like nail polish in the colour Rhapsody Red. I love this. It's really lovely, and it lasts about a week to 10 days on me, which is quite long, but got a little bit bored and I fancied something else, and so I went for these kind of press-ons, but you have to set them. You set them with this like little light. I don't know if you can see, but that's like a little, yeah, I think you can. This little blue light which cures the gel. I have worn these before, I think in September, and I chose this exact set back then as well because I just think this is such a lovely set, especially for spring. But back then I had just come back from holiday and I was tanned, and so I do think they looked a little bit nicer then. They don't look bad now, it's just that I'm a little bit pale. I was given these quite a while ago now. If you are looking for like fun at-home nails, I would definitely consider these. And then I've got a few new makeup-y bits that I've also really been loving. Firstly, Milani. This is their cream bronzer. I have very close to finished my Chanel bronzer, and I do think I'm going to get the number 7 one, but this one I think is under £15. The number 7 one I think is under 20. You probably get a little bit more product, but especially for like travel and stuff, this just seems perfect. Just adds a bit of shape and dimension to my face. Also going to go in with the Milani Cheek Kiss liquid blush in the shade Pink Flirt. I try to wear pinks over corals and oranges, and I really actually quite like this. It's quite sheer, which I like, because sometimes with, for example, what do I have that's really, oh, the e.l.f. one, really like it, but it's just so pink that you have to be very careful. Whereas this is a liquid blush rather than like a cream blush, I would say, and so it blends really nicely. And then my favourite eyeshadow are these two. These are L'Oreal because I just want something like very quick and very easy. I'm very aware that you can see like what's going on around me in this side of my mirror. So at the moment you can just see my jeans, but I know that you can kind of like see my mess if I'm not careful. But just like a very natural shadow, I like to then kind of add this one a little bit towards my lash line and the outer corner. And then my mascara of choice. I don't know if I should use my mascara of choice, which at the moment is this L'Oreal one, L'Oreal Big Deal, or should we try a new one from Milani? I guess let's try the new one from Milani. This is good though. It's volumizing, a little bit lengthening. Honestly, not that lifting, but I kind of just really want volume from mascaras, if I'm honest. Oh, that hurt. Oh, I hate when that happens. I don't even know what happened. Oh, now my eyes watering. So like, what do? Do I just wait ages for it to not water? Probably. I'm gonna try to do this mascara first. Okay, this is the Milani Anti-Gravity Highly Rated Mascara. I would expect lift from this, from the name. I've got hay fever already, which is great fun. Okay, really lengthening, a little bit volumizing, but not kind of what I typically look for, I would say. But maybe nice enough. I do find though that like with mascaras, you can't really tell how good it is day one. So I'll get back to you. It's building up quite nicely. Definitely one you have to be careful to not get too cakey. And that's just a few bits I kind of wanted to talk about. And then I thought I would very quickly talk you through all the books I've read this month. I had been reading the same book since December. Mid-December I started, I'll show you which book, and then I only finished it mid-March, but since then I've made some progress with a few other books. So this is everything that I have finished this month. Quite a few, 6 books. I've started number 7, and I thought I would quickly talk you through it. If you're not interested in books, I'm sorry. Also, I need to organise this. It's just loads of black coats at the moment, but it's on my to-do list. So as I mentioned, I started this book back in December. I think about like December the 19th I started this, and it took me so long to read. I'm a big Sally Rooney fan, but I ended up giving this a 3 out of 5 in terms of stars on my Goodreads. I have got that link down below if you are interested. Sally Rooney writes so beautifully, but this was so slow. A book like Normal People, which I think I've read twice actually, I loved because it's slow, don't get me wrong, like nothing really happens. You're kind of there for the characters and for the writing, but it's short enough that it kind of doesn't matter. Whereas I found this just too long to be like such a slow book, and I was talking to someone about it, and I just said it's just a slog. Like I'm really having to like push through to read it. It's about 2 men and their father passes, and it's about kind of their life after his funeral. And actually there is romance in here, definitely, or like love interests, but just overall I don't think I cared enough about either main character. The way it was written was that it alternated between the brothers in terms of chapters, and like one was much easier to read than the other, I think. But honestly, just a bit boring, and I don't really have much else to say. I just didn't enjoy it, to be completely honest. A bit sad. I probably will read the next thing Sally Rooney writes, but this one just wasn't quite for me. Okay, and then I moved on to Go As a River, which I gave 4 out of 5 stars. Now, honestly, I found this to be a little bit similar to another book that I read this month. So sometimes I kind of feel like I'm not sure if it happened in this book or this book. They are different. They're both historical. This is written in America, based in France. It's a book about a main character called Victoria who lives in Colorado. Colorado? Is that pronounced correctly? On a peach farm, and it definitely covers heavy topics. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Where the Crawdads Sing. So if you did enjoy that, I think you'd really enjoy this as well. But overall, I gave it 4 out of 5. It was like not my favorite book ever, but it was good. I hadn't read these two so close together. I think I probably would have loved this, but because I did, I kind of didn't. But I wanted something lighter because this was a little bit heavy, I would say. And so I moved on to Stanley Tucci, What I Ate in 1 Year. I'm a big Stanley Tucci fan. I read his other book called Taste, which I really enjoyed. I've listened to him on lots of podcasts, and I've actually started listening to his podcast that's on YouTube. I do generally enjoy it, but I feel like I've kind of gone off at Stanley Tucci a little bit since this book, because this was dull. This really was. I think maybe just reading about what someone eats in a year just isn't that interesting, because I've seen and even watched on TV lots of things that he does. It was a bit samey, like it's just very pasta heavy. There are kind of shopping lists for pages of this book, which it's just a bit boring. Like, of course you can skip that, but the whole book I just didn't really find that engaging. He kind of name drops a bit, like Harry, like on September the 7th, Harry S came for dinner. He cycled to our house after working out in Mayfair. Like, okay, you had dinner with Harry Styles. I don't know, I just did not enjoy this. I enjoyed his other book, which food kind of came into, but this one, it just was not for me. That I gave a, let me see, I'm not sure if I gave that a 2 or 3 out of 5. I think it's probably about a 2 out of 5 for me. And then I wanted something else. I wasn't really inspired by anything on my bookshelf. Popped into charity shop and I saw this, which I had seen everywhere. I feel like it's a book that was pushed quite a lot, and even on Audible, like they always like for a while they had this as like their main book that they were pushing. I'm not sure how many David Nicholls books I've read. I've read One Day a while ago and I think I liked that. Now firstly, the main character is a little bit similar to my partner because his name is Michael and he's a teacher, so I did find that very funny, and he likes to walk and Michael does like to walk. Michael doesn't really get to hike that much, but I feel like he would like it. He loves to like run and walk within London. Michael and Marnie go on a hike together with their friends and a few other people, and it's a story about how they kind of build that relationship, I guess. Not a groundbreaking book, I would say. Kind of a tiny bit generic and kind of predictable, but nonetheless I really did enjoy it. It really is exactly what I needed, and I gave this a 4 out of 5. If you've got any other recommendations of books kind of like this where like nothing bad happens, I feel like this is like the only book here apart from this one that you kind of don't need any trigger warnings for, and that's what I want. I want a book that doesn't need trigger warnings. I mean, largely, obviously there's probably still like a couple of things. If you have any recommendations of like romances, largely just like a happy book, please leave it in the comments, because that's really what I'm looking for. And I've gone through my bookshelf and I have about 60-70 books that I haven't read, and I just feel like so many of my books are about war in particular. I don't mind reading about war, but I can do like 1 book a month. I feel like any more than that, it's just too much. And so I was saying this to Mike yesterday, I feel like death is such a big topic in books, and I think maybe it's just because it makes it a little bit interesting. I'm kind of feeling like my next book, it has to be a book that isn't about death. I don't know what I'm going to read next, but I would love it to be a little bit lighter. After the David Nicholls You Are Here, I read The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna, which is set in World War II France. So as you can imagine, it's about war, and it's about 2 sisters, one who's single and one who has a family. Their mother died, and it kind of like talks about their relationships with their father and just like general life in the war. I feel like I genuinely did learn a lot. I don't know if I knew that much about France's involvement in World War II and like kind of what happened there. Maybe that's me being naive and like uneducated. I do feel like I learned a fair amount from this. My god, did I cry through this book so much, not just at the end but like numerous times. And I think that's why it reminds me a little bit of John Boyne's The Heart's Invisible Furies, because that book, I just felt like I was just crying so much throughout. This book was just super heartbreaking, and I always feel like a bit funny. I always feel a bit funny giving books that broke my heart a 5 out of 5, but this is a 5 out of 5 read. Not only is it written beautifully, despite being quite a long book, like never got boring. And I think what made it extra special was that I was so surprised by so many parts of it. There was just so many things that I just did not see coming. Just made it like extra special. So I would give this a 5 out of 5. Oh, I don't really want to read about World War II too soon, just because, almost dropped all my books, just because it's quite full on. And then I went for a much thinner book. Again, I picked this up in the charity shop. This is Water by John Boyne. I love John Boyne as a writer. He wrote my favourite book ever, which is The Heart's Invisible Furies. I've also read The Boy in Striped Pyjamas by him, and I've read A Ladder to the Sky as well. I think it's even thinner than what it appears to be. So I read this I actually like finished this and this in an evening. Finished this and then I started and finished this in an evening because this is so short. You can kind of get through it in a couple of hours. And this again did involve a little bit of death, which again, not really what I wanted, but this is based in Ireland. I don't know why I really love books based in Ireland. All the light is about Vanessa, who arrives on an island off Ireland. She changes her name and we kind of learn about why she's changing her name and like what has gone on with her family, I guess, before she arrived on the island. I love how water comes into this because it's not necessarily a huge component, but it's equally such an important part of the book. I don't want to give away like too many spoilers because it is quite a thin book. I feel like I would. It was beautifully written, but I think because it is so short, I kind of didn't engage. I don't know, I didn't like fall in love with the characters necessarily, so I probably would give this a 4 out of 5. But he also has air, fire and what's the other element? Oh, I can't remember, that's embarrassing. Air, Fire and Earth, and I do think I will read those as well, but I'm not in a rush to read them. I'm kind of seeing what pops up, and like I said, I've got books to read. My target of books to read this year was 6, and that's actually what I finished this month, but just because I feel that I can kind of build up reading momentum and I can kind of keep pushing and I will actually read. But equally, if I don't do that, I can just not read for months on end. And at the moment I feel like I'm trying to push myself to read both in the evening and also like at lunchtime, and if Michael's watching football, instead of like scrolling on my phone, I will just read, which I'm really enjoying. I've now started Coco Malaw's Blue Sisters, which I am enjoying. I'm about 50% of the way through that, but again, it is a little bit of a heavy book. I'm expecting it to get heavier, but it is heavy so far. I am enjoying it. I don't know if it'll be my favourite. Lots of people loved that book, and actually my cousin who lent me the book said that she didn't love it that much, so we'll see how I get on. And then if you are interested in what I'm going to read next, I want to read The Rosie Project by Graham Smithson, Absolutely and Forever by Rose Tremaine, Because of You by Dawn French, The Book Thief, which I know is going to be a really heavy book, but I've had it for a while, so I feel like I just want to read that. The one I'm most excited to read though this month is probably My Brilliant Friend by Eleanor Ferrante. I've not read any of her books and I've just heard such good things. In my head they're romance, maybe they're not, but I'm looking forward to reading those, and it's part of a set, so I don't think I've ever really read a set of books, so that's exciting. And then I might also read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, but that's quite a chunky one, so we'll see if I make it to that. That's what I've kind of been up to this month, to be honest, and that I think is part of the reason why I've not really vlogged very much. I might check in a little bit later, but now I'm going to record some TikToks, and that's it actually. My bookshelf, I am after, it needs a bit of a tidy, and I'm after one new shelf for it as well, which I will probably get during half term, so maybe my next vlog will also organise my bookshelf a little bit.